Today, I will tell you about a movie where a young girl, out of despair, marries a 65-year-old man, but everything ends very badly. Miriam is a young girl who accidentally sent her rich husband to the other world. She was sentenced to death penalty and has been in prison for 15 months. But today the girl was invited to a talk show. It will also feature Mona, Nasser's daughter, the only person who can save Miriam. If she forgives the girl on live television, she will not be executed, but will be released after she serves a short prison sentence. But will she be able to forgive her for the crime she committed? The first to arrive at the TV channel studio are Miriam and her mother, who sincerely believes and hopes that her daughter will deserve forgiveness. Trying to take care of her daughter, the woman asks her to change her hijab from black to brown, believing that this color is more suitable for the airwaves. The girl's mother is very nervous and constantly talks on the phone, which worries Miriam. Having met with the owner of the TV channel, Ayat, the girl asks for pre-prepared questions so that she knows what to answer. Ayat believes that this is not necessary because what is important is sincerity and repentance for the crime committed. Miriam is ushered into the studio where she can meet and get acquainted with the talk show host. A little later, she goes to the dressing room so that the makeup artist can prepare the girl for the live broadcast, which the whole country will watch. Miriam is asked to wait in the waiting room, but the girl is very nervous and does not want to be left alone. Having made concessions, Ayat invites her to the room where the editors and sound engineers are sitting, so that she doesn't feel like she's lonely and abandoned by everyone. A few minutes later, the credits begin, after which the host greets the audience. A famous singer performs before the start to attract as many people as possible to the broadcast. Immediately after this, the host takes the opening statement to talk about what will happen on today's talk show. Yalda is not just a holiday comparable to the New Year, but also a special day when you can cleanse your thoughts and soul. Today, they want the woman who lost her father to forgive the girl who committed a terrible crime. While Mona has not arrived at the studio, the cameramen are launching a documentary film prepared in advance by the TV channel. During the course of the film, it is told that Nasser is a man who was 65 years old. An influential director of an advertising agency in Tehran entered into a fictitious and temporary marriage with a young girl working in his company. Miriam was Mona's subordinate and worked with the man's daughter, but soon became his secretary and then his wife. It seemed like an ideal marriage until a terrible crime happened. Last fall, Miriam took the life of her husband because of quarrels over her pregnancy. During the scandal, the girl pushed her husband away and he fell, hitting his head. The investigation confirmed that the man was alive for another 40 minutes, but Miriam did not call an ambulance, but simply ran away from the house, leaving him to his fate. Mona arrives at the studio to take part in the live broadcast. At the same time, a married couple tries to get inside to talk to Miriam and her mother, but they are not allowed in due to the fact that they might interfere with the talk show. The documentary shows that Miriam repented of the crime and, under pressure from the investigation, spoke about how it all happened. The girl is convinced that this is an accident since she fought for her child and did not wish harm to Nasser. With each passing minute, Miriam becomes more and more nervous and quarrels with her mother, condemning her for the fact that the woman handed over photographs of the married couple to the TV channel. The mother sincerely hopes that the night of forgiveness will be successful and has done everything to arouse sympathy from the audience watching her fate live. Ayat calms Miriam and reminds her that she will have a whole hour to speak out. At the same time, he points out that any wrong word puts her life in danger, since Mona may not forgive the accused. Soon the talk show takes a short break to invite Miriam and Mona to the studio. The host, trying to be attentive to the guests, gets acquainted with the woman and girl, asking about their past. Mona talks about herself quite easily and calmly. After this, the deceased's daughter recalls how their families met. Miriam's father once worked as a driver for Nasser and was a confidant of the rich man, but he passed away in an accident 12 years ago. Nasser did not abandon the driver's family and supported them, but she could not imagine that her best friend would become her father's wife. Miriam is shy and very nervous at first, but at some point she decides to tell the truth, no matter what the cost. Those present are shocked and offer to interrupt the broadcast, but Ayat allows the girl to speak out. She admits that she married only for the sake of her mother and relatives, because she did not want to live in poverty. At the same time, Miriam declares that she really fell in love with Nasser, although she treated him like her father. During the conversation, Mona remembers her mother and how she was very sick, which is why the couple divorced. Miriam reproaches the daughter of her late husband, believing that she is lying, since everyone abandoned Nasser, making him a lonely and unhappy person. Miriam admits that she had no education, but Mona, being her best friend, took her on as an assistant accountant. At some point, Nasser began to show attention to Miriam, trying to win her heart. Mona, having learned about this, forbade her friend to appear in the office for a month, but this did not change the situation. The rich man was persistent and continued to court the girl even after she was forbidden to come to work. The next topic of debate on air is Miriam's pregnancy. It is assumed that she specifically wanted to give birth to a child in a fictitious marriage in order to get the rich man's inheritance. The girl denies guilt, since she simply loved Nasser, and for her the marriage was serious and not temporary or staged. Mona says that she did not know about her ex-friend's pregnancy, but Miriam proves the opposite. According to the girl, it was Mona who forced her to terminate the pregnancy, but the girl refused, dreaming of becoming a mother. The studio audience discusses the possibility of forgiveness, believing that Mona will not forgive Miriam. Realizing that the degree of dialogue is too high and Miriam is nervous, the presenter invites a famous actress to the studio to take her mind off what is happening. The actress reads the poem, after which she holds a drawing for a valuable prize and thanks for the invitation, hoping that the controversial situation will be resolved peacefully. There's a commercial break immediately after this, so everyone can get some rest. The presenter asks Miriam to think with her own head, because the girl will not live if she continues to attack Mona. A married couple waiting in the lobby meets the actress and asks to be taken to the studio as they have something important to report. Ayat calms down Miriam and asks her to be more accommodating, otherwise she will not survive tonight. Soon the girl is taken to another room, where she meets a married couple with a small child in their arms. As it turned out, Miriam's son did not fall into eternal sleep after giving birth, but is alive and well. The girl's mother hid this and replaced the children, fearing that Mona would take revenge for the birth of an heir. Miriam considers her mother a traitor and thanks the Almighty for the fact that her son is alive. The family that took the child in wanted to hide it, but soon they began to have troubles, as if someone was punishing them for the secret. Realizing that this was impossible, they came to the studio to tell Miriam everything and return her child to her. Ayat advises Miriam to change her behavior and ask for forgiveness, because this is the only way she will save her life and be able to raise her son. Realizing that the owner of the TV channel is right, the girl changes her behavior on air. Viewers participate in SMS voting to support the girl and collect a sufficient number of votes, in which the channel's patrons will compensate for material losses. Miriam cries and begs Mona to forgive her, changing her anger to mercy in order to avoid execution. The students in the hall, the audience, and everyone present also ask for forgiveness, but there is a pause for Mona to be alone and make an independent decision. The woman decides to be alone, but hears a child crying. In the next room, she sees the baby and realizes that this is the son of her late father and Miriam. He is the direct heir of the rich man, which means he has the right to 65% of his property. Mona, who is more interested in money than in her late father, decides to leave the studio and escapes in a car. Communicating with her lawyer, she admits that she wants Miriam executed and sells all her property in order to leave the country forever. At some point, a woman hits a man on a moped and tries to escape from the scene of the accident. The man catches up with her and blocks traffic, demanding an apology. Soon, the channel workers find Mona and persuade the woman to return to the studio to report their decision. A minute before the broadcast, the prosecutor warns of responsibility for lack of forgiveness. Mona also receives a call from her lawyer, insisting that she forgive Miriam on a live on TV. Despite all this, Mona refuses to forgive the criminal. Everyone is shocked, but a moment later she changes her mind and cancels Miriam's execution. The broadcast ends on a happy note, and the prosecutor asks the woman to sign the relevant documents. Miriam decides to thank Mona personally, but she admits that she has not truly forgiven her. Realizing that her son is in danger, the girl takes scissors to take her son's fingernail and hair, with which she can conduct a DNA test. Soon everyone goes home, and Miriam is returned to prison, where she will spend several more years.